transition?
Yes.
Good to go.
That's what I was thinking, we talked $15
Ready,
an acre,
Kevin?
wasn't
That's what we have.
What, you ready?
it? Yeah.
Go down, that's what we have.
Okay, I guess we're ready to open up the joint drainage board meeting between Marshall County and Fulton County. First order of business will be to approve the minutes from the last, when did we meet last April?
March 18th.
March 18th. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? So moved.
Second,
Then move a second that we approve the minutes. You caught up, Angie?
I'm getting there, yes.
Okay, sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. Okay, we have a public hearing scheduled for the Dora Fairchild County drain that runs between Marshall and Fulton County. Current data is that there's total acreage in the watershed is 534 plus or minus. 301 acres in Marshall County, plus or minus 233 acres, plus or minus in Fulton County. 23 parcels are in the watershed, 20 parcels in Marshall County, and 3 parcels in Fulton County. Length of the open ditch is 2,200 feet, plus or minus, and that's all in Fulton County. We have none in Marshall County. And the length of the tile drain is 5,000 in Marshall County and 2,200 in Fulton County. On November 8th, 2023, the Marshall County Drainage Board received a petition to place the Dora Fairchild County Drain on periodic maintenance. The projected estimated average yearly maintenance cost is from $5,000 to $10,000 on a yearly basis. Ditch cleaning, bank repair, debrushing, culvert installation, herbicide application, seeding, DNR, Army Corps permit application fees. Ledger work order and receipts are available to the public for viewing in the office of the Marshall County Surveyor's Office. This was prepared by the Office of the Marshall County and Fulton County Surveyors. I don't remember what we agreed, what we voted on to raise that assessment. Does anybody?
Yeah, we
It's 15.
voted to advertise at 15 an acre and a $15 minimum.
Yep.
And Angie, can you remind me of what the current rate is on this, please? You have it in
There
here.
is.
There is one.
There is none. This
Yeah.
is
Oh, this is to
on
set it
Just that
up.
one.
Yes.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Thank you very much. Okay.
So is
there
there,
isn't anywhere, like I say, we suggested or advertised for 15,
okay,
because we discussed it quite a bit, and toyed around as high as 25, and I think as low as 10, wasn't it? That we went down to, and we decided to kind of settle on 15.
okay. Thanks for reminding me. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Yes, I'd like to hear from the public. I'll make
Okay.
a motion to do that.
Been moved and seconded that we open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Is there anybody that would like to speak on this drain, the Dora Fairchild, for the assessment?
Well, I just came to see what, if there's any opposal, I guess and I'm supposed to state my name and address again.
State your name and address
Yeah,
again.
Mervyn Raymer. We own the property right north of 110 and the 20822 Peach Road property. And I guess I'm the reason why Craig asked, or I kind of asked if there was maintenance on it, because the tile is basically non-existent through part of my property. Back in the low spot, Sellers, that doesn't really show, the picture doesn't even show that, but Sellers built a big lake back there on his side of the property. And the overflow comes into my property now, right basically, I told him to put it right where the tile is, or is supposed to be. But through that muck area back there, there is very little remains of any tile. And the tile, there's a 12-inch clay tile that goes from 110 to the back to that muck area, and I've fixed it every year for the past 3 years, I think. It gets a big blowout, and it's basically not big enough to handle it. It's not in good shape, but through the muck, it's basically non-existent. So I talked with Craig to see, he told me it is a county tile, but there is no maintenance, and you cannot do anything to it without maintenance. But he said this would only be a maintenance assessment, not any type of reconstruction assessment, the way I understood. But if that tile gets maintained further upstream from me, it's just going to make my problem a lot worse, because there is no tile left, basically, through that muck in the north end of my property back there. And it's just, in February, I went back there with the excavator. Seller's Pond was still not quite full. It hadn't been running over since last summer. And I dug a trench through that muck. I didn't follow the tile route because I was afraid to get in there too close. But around the edge, I dug a trench to help hopefully guide the water to the tile at the south side of that muck. And I did that, but I saw later this spring after it got wet, there was water standing back there in the muck, bad. The tile doesn't carry the water to 110 as fast as it should.
What size tile is it?
It's a 12-inch clay from 110 north to that muck over my property. And I know on the south side of 110, me and Dean Ezekiel fixed a bad spot there, and that was a 15-inch solid, or concrete. Underneath 600 west, there's a steel culvert underneath the road, about 12 foot deep. And we put in about 30 feet of 15-inch solid core tile there because it was plugged, and it was causing Dean all kinds of grief. And Dean bought his backhoe, and he did the digging, and I helped him, and I paid the tile to fix. We put about $500 worth of tile there to fix that 15-inch tile. Now, I think it's 15-inch all the way underneath 110. Then from there, it goes to 12-inch clay. I never had it dug up right by the 110, but in that first hole there where that first kink is, that had a big blowout this winter, happened last summer, and I fixed that, and that is a 12-inch clay tile there. And we repaired that this year. But there is so much water coming from the north that 12-inch tile gets, it's completely full back by the muck for a long time. So, and it's 10 foot deep between 110 and that muck hole. It's 10 feet under the ground according to my laser. It has to be. I didn't dig the tile up, but I know where the tile is by the muck. It's exposed, and I got it dug open because to let the water in, because it's completely smashed shut through the muck. And so I was just trying to figure out, that whole farm needs a lot of tile, but I don't want to invest in tile unless I have an outlet. Last spring, right there on both sides of 110, me and Dean Ezekiel had huge water holes, and Dean stopped in. What did you do to my tile? Because it used to work, and as far as we know, we didn't do nothing. Well, he knew where it went underneath 600, right there where it shows where it goes underneath 600. And on the east side of 600, there was a riser pipe standing with water standing. So he brought his laser, and we checked the height or the outlet where it turns an open ditch, and that's about 300 feet from 600 there, I'm guessing. And the water level was 7 or 7.5 feet higher at 600 than it was coming out of the tile. So Dean was convinced we didn't do anything. There's a restriction there, so, and there was a riser there by 600, PVC pipe that somebody cut notches in and put limestone around it. When Dean dug that up, the 15-inch tile was completely full of limestone. Seemingly the riser holes were too big. So we fixed that, and now it's, as far as Dean's side, it's just like it was, I think. It still just about floods him out sometimes. But I don't know for sure what to do, because if we make the tile bigger from the swamp to 110, it's gonna put more pressure on the 15-inch tile. And that 15-inch tile looks to be 20 feet in the ground. That looks to be, I said. We don't have any idea. But it was put in the 1960s, Larry Zico tells me, or the guy, Paul Davis, that we bought the farm from, said they have some pictures of them putting it in way years ago, and it was pretty major to put it in back then. So I was just trying to figure out what my options are, or what we can do as a county.
Well, I certainly think the two surveyors, Seth and Craig, are.
Is this Seth here?
That's Seth.
Okay, nice to meet you too.
Yeah, and speaking, I'm the county surveyor in Kosciuszko County.
Oh, in
so-
Kosciuszko.
So I know what these guys go through, and we always try to avoid a reconstruction, and when you start talking about increasing the size of the tile, then we start talking reconstruction, and I can tell you, I'm pretty confident Seth and Craig and I do everything we can to not have to do that, because you pay for that, and you pay for your annual assessment, and most people don't like to do that. So, Seth, are you looking pretty good? The open ditch is in decent shape.
You just fixed it.
Craig just went in there on the open and cleaned that. So
Dipped
it
a
should be
little.
good. Now, my question to you is, this muck, are you ever gonna farm this muck again if the tile worked?
Yes.
You would try
Well,
to-
yes, that's the goal.
And that's why I didn't know if, an option would be to cut an open trench and put a structure on the existing 12 to try and keep debris out. That way we still have relief coming from down and almost use the muck as a retaining to get the water through, but, we gotta see what you're, because like Mike just said, if we go to reconstruct, especially being a deep tile.
You're talking lots of money.
There's gonna be a lot of salt,
Major
salty
dollars.
money, and it's gotten more and more expensive as we go on. Now, under maintenance, number one, in my opinion, of a reconstruct, replacing the tile with plastic is not a reconstruct if it stays on the same grade. All we're doing is maintaining the tile. Mike, do you agree or disagree?
I agree with, yeah, if you don't,
Okay.
yeah,
So-
and you can vary the grade a little bit, but yeah.
Between you and me, and this isn't gonna happen because of muck, but let's say in this, is this a big hill right here? The hill starts back here.
Yeah, right there by the edge of the hole, that's where I have it dug up.
So between
He's
you and me,
right
if
there,
there's a
but-
suck hole right here on this hill, we go in there to start replacing it, well, maybe they threw grade away there. Maybe at that point, we can lower it a little bit under maintenance, maybe. But you're not gonna gain much, and this is all Craig, and I'm not speaking for Craig.
Yeah, because this is Marshall County, but I follow what you're saying.
But we can't go all the way back to
110.
here and change grade under maintenance.
Well, we've only got about a foot of grade
Right now,
to use.
and that's what makes.
That's what Paul Davis, the guy that I bought the farm, said. He had a tile guy look at it. He said he could gain a foot. And Paul didn't think that was worth it. Well, so I borrowed a neighbor's laser, and Dad has one just like that. Aaron Reamer's my dad.
Yep, okay.
And I got a little bit confused on the direction of my grade. So I set it on level, so I'm gonna make sure that I didn't, and I know how far it is back there. It's about it's right at 1,300 feet, it's right in the middle of my 80-acre farm. And I just set it on level and checked it, and I figured it kind of 1.5. I figured that's about as flat as you would want to put it, 0.15.
0.15, yeah.
Yeah, and we could at least gain a foot. But it has about this much cover in the muck. And if we would gain another foot, it would be good. But
That's
So you'd be at 2 foot.
cover. Well, 2 foot plus. It's hard to say. There's so much canary grass back there, but we had heifers running back there. They had it pretty clean last summer. And you can follow the broke down spots in the tile, and you can see kind of where they're at, but it's all smashed down, and it's got about this much cover on top of what was a 12-inch clay tile.
The other problem that is, go back to 12-inch plastic, and if we can gain a little, you may be good, but you know what plastic does in muck when water gets.
It doesn't want to stay there.
It'll float.
Exactly, that's the other problem with minimal coverage. Now, again, it's a temporary solution, but either way, going forward, even if you did say that the bad R word, and we did do reconstruct, they cannot do that without setting this, ditch on maintenance first.
And that's why I think the maintenance cost is going to address those problem areas to go in there and fix them to get that tile opened back
And
up.
that's what we're hoping.
That's what we're
But
hoping to
I know what
do.
you're saying now, okay, you open that back up, to the upstream.
Upstream.
That hurts you more.
Well, I think that tile is still probably doing more, and there's more acreage up there. They can do repair work and increase that, and it's gonna make that tile work better. That makes the water hit me faster after a big rain.
Correct.
Which Sellers, if right here, this low spot is a huge lake now.
Yep.
They put a dam, well, that picture shows that dam. And we've got a 12 or 16-inch pipe going through that dam, basically right here where the tile is. But there is no tile, basically. So I dug a trench on my side of the fence, right down through here, and made it come right here to the tile.
So, Mr. Raymer,
Yeah.
are you in favor of this or not in favor of this?
I came to see
I
what
think
other
that's
people
what-
think of the options are.
I think that's what this boils down to. Since there's no maintenance and we're looking to establish a $15 an acre maintenance on it to at least get started on maintaining that drain in that ditch.
I would be pretty comfortable in saying, I mean, Craig's not gonna go up above you and put a bunch of money into that if he had an issue down
If he
below.
can't-
You gotta get rid of the water downstream before you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, Seth and Craig will probably make sure they're good south of 110.
Yeah.
Best we can.
You gotta have an outlet.
Without redoing it. And then they're gonna start working their way that way. So I don't, now, first of all, you say that's a pond on the other side of that dike, on the east side of that dike. You know, that's a big no-no for us in our county, because now you can't maintain that drain. It's hard to maintain it through that, obviously through that
But
pond.
he dug it out.
I know.
It goes right through the corner
Yeah.
of the water.
Right, and then, you know, then the county regulated drain above that is dependent upon him keeping that pond the outlet working and going on, and it's always been a problem for us in our county. I'm just comfortable that this is a good first step to set up a maintenance on this county regulated drain. See what we can do. I'm not saying it's the end all and the big R, I love that,
Yeah.
The nasty R word,
Yeah.
very good. That's good. Not saying that won't be down the road some point, but this is an effort to avoid that, okay, best we can. And I'm just confident that Craig's gonna make sure before he dumps a lot of water down to the south that we've got Seth and
build it,
Craig,
yeah.
that we've got an outlet before he gets there. So I think this is a good first step, but
The problem is the 15-inch tile that goes underneath 110 and through Fulton County, at this point, is the restrictor. And that is major money to fix that. So I'm not sure that I'm not wasting my money to put maintenance on it.
well, it doesn't cost you anything to repair that under 110 though. The state has to pay for that. Well,
Well, it is working.
okay.
I think that is, the 15-inch tile after we fixed it last summer seems to be working, because I checked the outlet going where it opened into the ditch when there was water standing this spring when we had heavy rains, and that outlet was releasing water the speed that you would think it should. So it is, but it is working. So there's nothing to do to that unless we make it bigger.
With 300 acres to the north, I'm a little surprised that 15's not enough. Now, I haven't calculated. Have you, Seth,
I
at all?
haven't either, but again, that's a small acreage being up.
It is. I'm a little surprised that that's not enough. Now, it doesn't help when you flatten out your grade from your muck ground to 110. That does have a little bit of issue on what size tile you need.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
the only way to speed that up is put a better tile.
Right. So without calculating, and I'm just gonna guess that Craig's already looked at that. I just would be surprised that 15, and even the 12 through you isn't big enough, but you know your ground better than I do, so I don't wanna,
But again, the county entities cannot do anything to help or assist unless it is set up on maintenance. And if you wanted to make it bigger at this point, you'd have to talk to Craig, and he could give you a blessing, and then it's up to you guys to
You and your
foot the
neighbors.
whole bill. If it goes under maintenance, it's set up that way, then everybody, at least upstream, would pay an equal portion on that amount. If that makes,
Yeah, I follow that.
that's a
But
real good point.
as far as, yeah, my problem is, as far as I know, there's probably nobody interested. There's nobody here to oppose it.
there, bingo.
That's right.
But there's nobody interested. I mean, they should be to help, there's some of their water, but it's my problem. Dean is not even, he owns all that land south of 110. He doesn't really have an incentive to help me put more water pressure on that tile because it's gonna make the 110 hole a lot slower.
But with nobody here to oppose it, we can impose a $15 maintenance on
Yeah.
it, to put $8,000 a year into the pot to work on fixing it and help you and help others. And right now, with no opposition, they have no room to beef.
Yeah.
Well, that was my plan, I mean, that was why I asked for a maintenance fee, so I would have help to help that.
Well, they can't.
But I probably got more, in Marshall County, I've got more land in it than anybody else does, I
But
think.
everybody, every acre in it will pay that $15 an acre. So you're gonna get help from the south and the north.
If we can do something to help it,
Well, and that'll have to come after we get the maintenance fee set up and after money's in.
so.
Angie, did you receive any remonstrance letters in your office? Okay. so
We didn't receive anything.
Nothing came in, okay, thank you.
So nobody opposed it. Nobody's here, so, and I'm the one that asked for it, so.
It sounds to me like we need to vote for the
Yeah, we
maintenance
need
fee,
to
set
close
it
the
up, and
public hearing and set it up and move on.
If it is closed to the public, I would, if there's no other discussion, I would make a motion to accept the advertised
we gotta
rate
close it.
of.
Let's close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passed.
Yes, thank
Now
you.
you can,
Thank you. So I'll make a motion to accept the $15 an acre and a $15 minimum to be the first assessment rate for this.
okay.
I'll second
It's been moved and seconded that we establish a $15 an acre assessment for the Dora Fairchild County drain. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion passed. Okay,
it. That's it.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
okay.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, okay.
Sounds good.